That single sentence, "Your brother is 10 times better than you in every way," hung in the air between us like a cloud of toxic smoke. It was a Sunday afternoon in our kitchen. The lunch dishes were still soaking in the sink. The fight had started, of all things, because I'd forgotten the milk. Milk she liked to have in bed. But the fight wasn't about milk. It was a fuse. She delivered the line with a smirk, not a flush of anger, not a drop of emotion, but a cold, premeditated cruelty. It was the way someone uses a weapon they've been saving. I'm David, 37 years old, a project manager at North Peak Engineering in Louisville, Kentucky. 8 years married to Jessica. I thought I knew her. I thought I knew my own brother, Kyle. I stood there letting the silence stretch. Something inside me didn't snap but went cold and crystal clear. There was no rage, just a chilling certainty. "I see," I said, my voice steady. "Good to know." I walked to the bedroom, packed a duffel bag, grabbed my laptop, important documents, and a few days of clothes. She followed me, but I didn't look at her. I didn't say another word. I zipped the bag, grabbed my keys, and walked out. I drove to a cheap, clean motel on the east side of town. I sat on the edge of the bed for an hour, staring at the wall. Then I opened my laptop. The truth is, I'd had my suspicions for months. Small things. Her phone always face down. Late nights at work that didn't add up. The way she and Kyle would share a quick smile during family dinners, or the way he'd look at her when he thought no one was watching. Kyle, 2 years younger, was always the charmer, the one everyone loved more. Growing up, he got away with everything. I was the responsible one, the boring one, the one who followed the rules. But I'm also the one who pays attention. 3 weeks earlier, I'd installed cameras, small hidden ones in the smoke detectors, the bookshelf, the bedroom. I told myself I was being paranoid, that I would find nothing and feel stupidly relieved. But deep down I knew. I had already watched pieces of the footage, enough to know the truth. I saw them in our bed, in our kitchen, laughing about me, about how easy it was. I hadn't confronted them. Not yet. I needed more. I needed her to say it, to put the final nail in the coffin. I needed her to hand me everything I'd need to destroy her. So I forced the fight. I forgot the milk on purpose. I pushed her buttons until she was careless, and she gave me exactly what I needed. In that motel room, I copied every file from the cameras onto an external drive. Hours of footage, complete with dates, times, and audio. Then I called my lawyer, Patricia. She's sharp, no nonsense, and expensive. I'd worked with her before. "I need to see you first thing tomorrow morning," I told her. "What is this about?" she asked. "Divorce, infidelity, I have evidence." "A lot of it." There was a pause. "Bring everything you have." "I'll clear my schedule." I hung up. I thought about calling my parents, Kyle, or even sending Jessica a text, but I didn't. I just sat there, in the quiet, feeling the massive weight of what was coming, and for the first time in months I felt completely in control. The next morning I met Patricia at her downtown office. She was in her mid-50s with gray hair pulled back and reading glasses on a chain. She didn't react as I showed her the footage, the recordings, and the timeline I had meticulously built. She just took notes, asking sharp technical questions. Dates, duration, whether Jessica knew about the cameras. "She does not," I confirmed. "Kentucky is a one-party consent state. I'm allowed to record in my own home." Patricia nodded. "That is correct." "And you are sure you want to proceed with this?" "I am sure," she leaned back. "This will not be pleasant. Infidelity cases rarely are. But with this evidence, we can ensure she walks away with as little as possible." "Assuming that is your goal, it is." "And your brother?" she asked. "What about him?" "He will be implicated. Your family will know. His reputation will be damaged." "Are you prepared for that?" I thought about Kyle. All the years I'd covered for him, the money I'd lent, the times I believed his empty promises. "Yes," I said. "I am prepared." "Then let us begin." We spent the next 3 hours building the case. Patricia explained what to expect. The filing, the discovery process, settlement negotiations, and the possibility of a trial. She detailed how Kentucky handled marital assets and how the evidence would impact alimony. "We will file this week," she concluded. "Once we do, everything moves quickly. You need to be ready." I left her office and drove to a storage unit I'd rented the week before. I'd already moved my important documents, titles, bank statements, tax returns. I'd opened a separate bank account and transferred half of our savings. Patricia had confirmed it was legally mine to take. I'd made multiple copies of all the evidence, storing them in 3 separate places: the cloud, the storage unit, and a safe deposit box. I wasn't taking any chances. That evening, sitting alone in the motel room, I thought about the last 8 years, the wedding, the vows, the life I thought we had built. We met at a company event. She was outgoing, funny, and warm. I was quiet and reserved. She said she liked that I was steady and dependable. I believed her. We married 2 years later. Kyle was my best man. He gave a toast where he joked that Jessica was too good for me. Everyone laughed. Looking back, maybe he wasn't joking. The first few years seemed fine. We bought a house, talked about kids. I worked long hours and she did too. I trusted her. Then Kyle moved back to Louisville. He was always around, always stopping by. Jessica said she liked having family close. I never questioned it until about 6 months ago. The changes were subtle. Her phone glued to her hand, new passwords, the sudden interest in going to the gym, her smile fading around me. When I asked if everything was okay, she said she was just stressed. I wanted to believe her, but the doubt grew until I couldn't ignore it. So I installed the cameras, waited, and found the truth. Now I had the evidence and a lawyer ready for war. Jessica and Kyle thought they were safe, that I was too blind or too trusting to figure it out. They were wrong. 2 days later, Patricia filed the divorce papers. Jessica was served at work. She called me 6 times that day. I didn't answer. That night she showed up at the motel, banging on the door, yelling my name. I sat on the bed and waited until she left. The next morning, a text, "We need to talk." "This is insane. You're overreacting." I didn't respond. Then Kyle called. I let it go to voicemail. He sounded loud and angry, saying I was ridiculous, yet tearing the family apart over nothing. I deleted the message. Patricia called that afternoon. "They've hired a lawyer. We'll be meeting with them next week for a preliminary settlement discussion. Be ready." I spent the next few days preparing, going through Patricia's list of questions. I also called my parents. I told them I was filing for divorce and why. They were quiet. My dad asked if I was sure. My mom asked if it could be fixed. I said no to both. I didn't tell them about Kyle yet. That would wait until the evidence was public. The settlement meeting was held in a downtown conference room. Jessica was there with her lawyer, a slick, confident man in his 40s. Kyle was noticeably absent. Jessica looked tired, her eyes red when I walked in. I sat down across from her and didn't look away. Her lawyer started by saying this could all be resolved quickly, that emotions are high and people say things they don't mean. Patricia cut him off. "My client has extensive evidence of infidelity, videos, audio recordings, dates, times. This is not a matter of he said, she said. This is documented fact." The room went silent. Jessica stared at me. Her lawyer looked at her. "Is this true?" She didn't answer, just looked down at the table. Patricia continued. "Given the evidence, my client is seeking a full division of assets in his favor. No alimony, no spousal support. The house and the car go to him. She walks away with only what she brought into the marriage and nothing more." Her lawyer leaned back, a forced smile gone. "That is not reasonable." "It is very reasonable," Patricia countered. "Considering the alternative is a trial where this evidence becomes public record, where her actions are exposed to family, friends, and co-workers, and where her reputation is permanently damaged." Jessica finally looked up, her voice shaky. "David, please, can we talk about this, just the two of us?" I looked at her, feeling absolutely nothing. "No." Her lawyer tried one last time. "Let's take a break. Let everyone cool down." Patricia stood up. "We will give you 24 hours to consider the offer. After that, we proceed to discovery and trial." We left. Outside, Patricia was confident. "They will counter, but they will settle. No one wants this to go to court." That night, Kyle called again. This time I answered. "What the hell are you doing?" His voice was loud, laced with anger. "I'm getting a divorce," I said, my voice calm and even. "You're ruining her life over nothing." "Over some stupid fight." "It's not about the fight," I said. "It's about what she did. What you both did." There was a long silence on the line. Then he said, "I do not know what you are talking about." Kyle's voice was a shaky pretense. "Yes, you do." I hung up. I sat there, my phone heavy in my hand, anticipating the fallout, the confrontations, the arguments, the family implosion. But I was ready. Jessica and Kyle had been careful. They thought they were smarter. They thought I'd find out, be hurt, and then Like the boring, dependable David I always was, I'd forgive it and move on. They were wrong. I wasn't going to forgive. I was going to make sure they both paid. Jessica's lawyer called Patricia the next day, ready to negotiate. We scheduled another meeting for Friday. In the 3 days that followed, everything changed. I was coming back from getting coffee when I saw Kyle's truck in the motel parking lot. He was leaning against it, arms crossed, waiting. I walked past him without a word. He followed me to my door. "We need to talk," he insisted. "No, we don't. David, come on. This is stupid. You're acting like a child." I stopped and turned. I looked at my younger brother, the one I had protected my whole life, the one I had trusted. "How long?" I asked. He blinked. "What? How long have you been sleeping with my wife?" The confident mask slipped just for a second. Then he recovered, shaking his head. "I'm not doing this. You're paranoid. You're making things up because you're angry." "I have video," I said, flat and emotionless, "of both of you. In my house, in my bed. I have dates, times, audio, everything." The color drained from his face. He opened his mouth, closed it, then tried a nervous laugh. "So what, you're going to show Mom and Dad? You're going to ruin both of us because you couldn't keep your wife happy?" I stepped closer, lowering my voice. "I'm going to make sure everyone knows exactly what you are. What you both are. And when I'm done, you will have nothing. No respect, no family, nothing." He pushed me, hard. I stumbled back, catching myself. His fists were clenched, his breath coming in ragged gasps. "You think you're better than me, don't you? You've always thought that, Mr. Perfect, Mr. Responsible, but guess what? Jessica didn't want you. She wanted me. She told me being with you was like being with a robot. No passion, no life, just boring, predictable. You want to know how long? 2 years, David. 2 years, and you never even noticed. You were too busy with your job and your perfect little life to see what was right in front of you. Yes, I slept with your wife, and she was worth it." I simply nodded, taking his words in. "Good to know." I turned, went into my room, and locked the door. He yelled something, banged once, and then I heard his truck peeling out of the parking lot. I sat on the bed and immediately played back the recording on my phone. Every word was crystal clear. I sent the file to Patricia with a single message. "Add this to the evidence." She replied 10 minutes later. This just got easier. That Friday, Jessica's lawyer was subdued. He laid out a new counteroffer. She'd agreed to no alimony if we split the house proceeds and savings 50-50. Patricia didn't even look at the paper. Fair would have been her not sleeping with his brother for 2 years, she stated. "This isn't about fair. This is about consequences." Jessica was crying silently. She looked at me. "David, please. I made a mistake. You don't have to destroy me. You destroyed yourself," I corrected her. Her lawyer tried to appeal to reason. "If this goes to trial, it will cost you both. Why put yourselves through that?" Patricia slid the new folder across the table. "Because my client wants justice and he's willing to go as far as necessary to get it. This folder contains a transcript of a recorded conversation where his brother admits to a 2-year affair with Jessica, mocks David for being clueless, and admits to the betrayal." She let that sink in. "If we go to trial, the videos become evidence. This recording becomes evidence. Your client will be exposed, not just to the court, but to everyone, family, coworkers, social media. The whole story will follow her for the rest of her life." Jessica's lawyer looked at the folder but didn't touch it. He leaned over and whispered to her. After a minute of hushed debate, he straightened up. "We need time to discuss this with our client." "You have until Monday," Patricia said. "After that, we file for trial." We left. I felt a rush of adrenaline, the satisfying clarity of watching them squirm. But it wasn't enough. Not yet. That weekend, my parents called. They wanted to meet as a family. I agreed and told them to come to the motel on Sunday afternoon. They arrived at 2. My dad looked older. My mom was twisting a tissue in her hands. We sat in the small, ugly plastic chairs outside my room. "Kyle told us what's happening," my dad started. "Did he? He said you're accusing him of something terrible, something that isn't true." "Is it true?" my mom asked, her voice small, afraid of the answer. I pulled out my phone, opened a video file, and handed it to her. "Watch." The video was from our bedroom, cut to a 30-second clip from 4 months ago. Jessica and Kyle. Clear, undeniable. My mom went pale. She handed the phone to my dad. He watched, his jaw tight, then handed it back. "How long have you known?" he asked. 6 months, I suspected. 3 weeks I had proof. My mom started sobbing. My dad put an arm around her and looked at me. What are you going to do? I already did it. I filed for divorce. I'm taking her to court, and Kyle is going to be exposed for what he is. He's your brother, my dad pleaded. He was my brother, I corrected him. David, please, my mom pleaded. I know you're hurt, but he's family. We can fix this. No, Mom, we can't. He knew what he was doing. He did it for 2 years. And when I confronted him, he laughed at me, said Jessica wanted him because I was boring. My dad closed his eyes, then looked at me again. What do you want from us? I want you to know the truth, and I want you to stop defending him. My mom stood, walking toward their car. I can't choose between my sons. You don't have to, I said. I'm just telling you what they did and what I'm going to do about it. My dad stayed, looking at me for a long time. I'm sorry this happened to you, David. What he did was unforgivable. I won't defend him, but I won't disown him either. He's still my son. I understand. I shook his hand. I watched them drive away, the weight of the family breaking, settling over me. But there was also a profound relief, they knew. I didn't have to carry it alone anymore. Monday morning at 8 a.m., Patricia called. They settled. She agreed to everything. The house, the savings, no alimony. She walks away with her car and personal items. It's over. I sat down, letting the words sink in. When do I sign? I met her at the office that afternoon. Jessica was already there. We didn't speak. We just signed the papers. Her lawyer handed me the house keys, the car title, the bank information. Jessica looked at me one last time. I hope you're happy. I didn't respond. I just left. I drove to the house, my house now. I walked through the rooms, took down every photo with Jessica, boxed them and left them on the porch. I texted her, your things are outside. Don't come back. Then I changed the locks. That night, alone in the quiet, empty house, I felt a deep weariness. The revenge wasn't sweet. It was necessary. It was deserved. But it didn't fix anything. It just closed the door. I started seeing a therapist, Claire, every Wednesday. She didn't judge. She helped me understand. You trusted people you loved, she said. That is not a weakness. It feels like a weakness because it was used against you, but that makes what they did wrong. 3 months later, my dad called. Kyle had moved to North Carolina, trying to start over. He's struggling, my dad said. He lost a lot. Good. 6 months after that, I sold the house. Too many memories. I bought a smaller, modern place across town. I reconnected with old friends. I started running. I focused on what I could control. Jessica sent one handwritten letter apologizing, saying she understood why I did what I did. I didn't respond. I kept the letter, though, as a piece of proof that I hadn't imagined the betrayal. A year after the divorce, I started dating again. It was hard. The doubt crept in with every new person, but I refused to let Kyle and Jessica take that from me, too. Eventually, I met Olivia. She was divorced, too. She understood the hesitation. We built something slow, something honest. 3 years after the divorce, Kyle sent a letter forwarded by my parents. I opened it a week later. It was a single shaky page. David, I know I don't deserve your time or your forgiveness, but I need you to know I am truly sorry. Not because of what I lost, but because I hurt you. Because I betrayed someone who deserved better. I am sorry, Kyle. I read it, folded it, and threw it away. Some apologies come too late. I didn't owe him absolution. I married Olivia. We bought a house. We built a life I was proud of. One day, Olivia asked me if I regretted how I handled the divorce. No, I said. I did what I had to do. I stood up for myself. Do you ever think about forgiving them? I paused, thinking about it. Forgiveness isn't about them, I finally said. It's about me, and I've already forgiven myself for trusting them, for not seeing it sooner. That's the only forgiveness that matters. I didn't destroy them. They destroyed themselves. I just made sure the world saw it. The revenge wasn't the sweetness of their downfall. It was my refusal to let them break me. I got my revenge by healing, by building a new life, by proving I was worth more than what they gave me. That day in the kitchen, when Jessica smirked, it was the day I was broken. But it was also the day I began to be rebuilt, stronger, smarter, and absolutely certain of what I deserved.